Hi everyone, welcome back another video of electronic device. Today we are going to discuss about the photo detectors. In last classes we have been discussing about photodiodes. In that solar cell have been completed. The solar cell, if I take solar cell and explain using the voltage and current characteristics, the diode working in fourth quadrant, and it basically working on open circuit voltage and short circuit current that we have seen in previous classes. Today it's about the photo detectors. Let's look at this VI characteristics of photodiode. If the photodiode is operating in third quadrant, basically it's the current generated inside the photodetectors is proportional to the optical photon, I mean the light falling on the device basically. Okay, we have seen that this explanation we have seen before. Okay, so I'll just remind you the same once again, and look at this diagram, energy band diagram of a PN junction in a reverse bias. So we told in that class or previous class only we told the third quadrant is basically reverse biasing of PN junction, right. So we have to apply a reverse bias across the PN junction. So for time being, just assume this is my photo detector diode, a PN, okay, and reverse bias is applied. That means the P side should connected to N and N side should connected to P. Okay, so there will be a depletion region over here because of additional reverse bias be applied. The depletion region will be more. Okay, the width of the depletion region will be more compared to a forward bias or equilibrium condition. So what will happen here, when explanations are very similar, when light is falling on the device, definitely an electron hole pair creates, right. So since there is a strong electric field in the depletion region, electron will transport towards N type region and hole will transport towards P type region. Okay, so the more number of electrons, more number of photons are falling on. As more number of photons are falling on the device, the current will increase. So look at this VI characteristics. This is our dark current. That means the voltage, the current without light energy, because it is already reverse bias. So because of the reverse biasing condition, there will be a small reverse saturation current that would be constant almost. Okay, so that current will be there always. So I can write it's a reverse current, is known as I saturation. I saturation will be there. Okay, then additionally there will be another current which is because of light intensity. So this expression we have seen before, the total current is equal to, okay, we have seen this expression before, and elaboration of this everything we have done it before only. Okay, so look at this, this is the current is generated. If more number of photon is falling on the device, the current will be more electrons transportation will occur across the junction, and more current will appear across the junction. So that is why this first point says the photodiode should operate in third quadrant in order to work as a photo detector. So here when we consider a photo detector as a sensor, it's going to detect light, isn't it? So the response time is very important. Okay, the device supposed to tell us the presence of light. So the response is very important, speed of response, okay, bandwidth. These are the critical parameters of our device photo detector, and we'll see how can we get a high response. Okay, just look at this diagram. Okay, light is falling on this neutral area. Just assume light is falling on this neutral area. Okay, electron hole pair created. What will happen this electron hole and what will happen this electron and holes? Okay, this is not experienced by any electric field. Okay, since it is reverse bias, this minority charge carriers hole in this region will displace a small distance, and it will recombine and settle down. Similar way, this electron here will move towards this direction, small distance, that is diffusion length, and it will diffuse, and finally it will settle down. So if more light is falling on this neutral region, the device may not be able to detect the light, because the charge carriers which is being developed during the photon fall is not transporting, not undergone any transportation. I mean, it's not crossing the junction, and it is not able to collect anode side and cathode side, so that we cannot, there will not be a current, so that we cannot detect the current light fall. Okay, thus preferably what is the condition we are supposed to maintain? Preferably all the photon should fall on the depletion region always. So the construction of photo detectors should be in particular way that the exposure area supposed to be the depletion region. Okay, if more light is falling on the depletion region, I mean, if the light is falling only on depletion region, definitely what will happen? The electron hole pair created, so definitely there will be a strong electric field. So because of the strong electric field, these electron and holes are going to be separated, going to collect with the anode side and cathode side. Okay, so that we can, so there will be an outer current, so that we can detect there is a light fall. So we can detect the light fall only if there is a current flow in the external circuit. Okay, as far as the device is concerned, and not for human beings, we can make out a presence of light by just looking that area, right? But as far as the device concerned, it doesn't have any intelligence. So the device can make out there is a light presence of light only by measuring the external current. Okay, if more lights are falling on the neutral area, more lights are falling on this neutral area, the generated electron hole pair is going to recombine soon. There will not be any current flow across the junction, so that the device cannot able to detect the presence of light. So what is the remedy for that? Okay, the width of the depletion region large enough so that most of the photons are absorbed within the width of depletion region rather than the neutral P and N region. That is what the remedy for that. So we should maintain a large depletion region. That doesn't mean we will get the large depletion region by applying a large reverse voltage, but there is a limitation. We cannot apply a large reverse voltage across the PN junction. We learned about reverse breakdown. Okay, so that we have to compromise somewhere in between the applied voltage and the width of depletion region. So how can I enhance this working technology? I should prepare a separate PN junction where the depletion region will create better than the normal diode. Okay, what is the solution for that? Okay, one solution is that maintain one region with a lightly doping region. Let's see that. Okay. So That's what we're discussing here. When an electron hole pair is created in the depletion region, the electric field sweeps the electron to the N side and the hole to the P side. Since this carrier drift occurs very short time, the response of photodiode can be quite fast. This is what I explained last slide. Okay. When the carriers are generated preliminary within the depletion region, depletion layer W, the dictator is called depletion layer photodiode. Okay, so the remedy which the solution which I have explained in with the previous slide, we have to maintain a large depletion region. Okay, if all the electron hole pairs are created, all the primarily generation happening inside the depletion layer itself, for that type of photodiode is known as depletion layer photodiode. Okay, then how can I get a large depletion layer? If I do a less doping to the one side of a PN junction, we know that okay, if we are doing a less doping to the one side of a PN junction, the depletion region, encroaching of the depletion region more towards that region, right. So one remedy is that what? Dope at least one side of the junction lightly. The one solution for increasing the depletion region is dope at least one side of the junction very lightly, so that the W can be made large. Normally in PN junction, okay, if you do the same doping level, depletion region will be same. If you do a very light doping in the N region, the encroachment of depletion region more towards the N region and less towards the P region. Okay, we cannot make both region very lightly doped because it doesn't meet our goal with the device. Okay, so at least one side we can have a less doping. That is one solution for getting a large depletion region. If depletion region is wide, what will happen? The most of the photon fall on the depletion region. That means the photon absorption will happen in depletion region. Once the photon absorption happening in the depletion region, the electron hole pair will create the depletion region itself. Since there is a electric field, the transportation will occur very easily, so that the sensitivity of the device will be more. Okay, rather it falling on the neutral side of PN junction. If photon is falling on the neutral side, somewhere here, right, this is the depletion region. Anyway, if light is falling on this neutral side, what will happen? There is no electric field, it's a neutral region. So this electron hole pair, after some time, after diffusion, after carrier lifetime, or after it moving a very small distance called diffusion length, it's going to recombine with the opposite energy particle and it will settle down. So once it settle down, there is no current. So if there is no current, device not able to dictate the presence of light. So preferably we want all the photon to be fall on depletion region only. So we have to maintain a large depletion region. And how to do that? Okay, dope one side very lightly, so that depletion region will encroach more in that area. Okay. So the convenient method of controlling the width, the manufacturing itself we should take care. While manufacturing the PN junction itself, we should take care of that. Okay. So the most popular photodiode is PIN photo detector. PIN photo detector. So P for what? P for very similar, very simple. What is P? P is P type material. What is N? N type material. What is I? It's an intrinsic You see that the construction of PIN diode here. Okay, so initially we have a P substrate and the intrinsic region is sandwiched between P-type material and N-type material, right? That intrinsic region no need to be truly intrinsic. It may be lightly doped region. Basically, it is grown on N-type substrate. That construction of PN junction, it's there in the 5th module. Then you will understand the grown epitaxially on N-type substrate. What does it mean? Okay, we type an N-type. We'll take an N-type substrate, and we grown that intrinsic region. So really, that we will see later. But for time being, understand this is actually not separate semiconductor region. It's actually grown on N-type substrate. Okay. When this device, so we have a metal contact over here, right? Ohmic contact, metal contact. We have a metal contact over here, and this substrate supposed to be reverse biased. Okay, look at this diagram. This type of diagram will be more convenient for explanation. So we have a P-type material here, N-type material here, and intrinsic region is sandwiched in between P-type material and N-type material, and I have applied a reverse biasing to this PN junction. Okay, N side is connected to P and P side is connected to N. Definitely this depletion region going to create, this is lightly doped region. Definitely this depletion region going to encroach more to this I region, and if I keep increase this reverse biasing voltage, this entire intrinsic region will be the depletion region of this PN junction, right? Okay, then when the photon is falling on this, okay, the depletion region is large compared to neutral, N region and P region. So we will expose only this portion to the light. Okay, yeah. When the device is reverse biased, the applied voltage appear almost entirely across the I region. Okay, so almost across I region, and the depletion region will be encroach completely the intrinsic region. That's why the W is mentioned throughout this region, and this is actually P-type, width of P-type and width of N-type. And once photon is falling on this area, electron and hole will create. I change the color, okay. Electron and hole will create. So definitely the depletion region consists of electric field. Okay, so this electron will move towards this direction and the hole will move towards the direction. But thing is that we heard about tau P and tau P and tau N, the lifetime of the charge carriers. Since the width is very large, okay, the lifetime of the carrier should be greater than the drift time of charge carriers. What does it mean? Just assume drift time is 0.5 microsecond. Just assumption, okay. This is actually very large time compared to that. Okay, 0.5 microsecond drift time. The carrier lifetime is 0.1 microsecond. Just assume. Okay, drift time is 0.5 microsecond and carrier lifetime is 0.1 microsecond. I am repeating again, this is just for assumption, for the making the concept clear to you. Don't think the carrier lifetime is in terms of a microsecond. No. Okay, so electron hole pair generate within 1 microsecond, it's going to settle down. Okay, then the drift time is 0.5 microseconds. So before it reaches to the other side, this electron, this hole is going to recombine somewhere in the intrinsic region itself with some other holes or with some other electron available here. So what actually I want to tell you, the carrier lifetime within I region is long compared with the drift time. So most of the photo generated carrier will be collected by the N type and P type region. So this is supposed to be reverse in practical. Okay. So carrier lifetime should be more than the drift time of the charge carriers. I am repeating once again, don't get confused. The carrier lifetime or drift time not in terms of microsecond. It is very less than, very much less than that. Okay. So that is how it works. And see, I told you that the width of the depletion region supposed to be very large. Okay. So if all the photons are falling only on the depletion region, the sensitivity will be more because there is a existing electric field that will transport the carrier towards the anode and cathode side. So we can, and what about the speed of response? Sensitivity will be more if you keep the maximum. What about the speed of response? So that's about the sensitivity. If width is wide, most of the incident photon will be absorbed in the depletion region itself, leading high sensitivity. But problem is that, okay, W must not be so wide that the time required for drift of photo generated carriers out of the depletion region is excessive. That leads to low bandwidth. Already I explained this before. Don't confused by reading this sentence. It is very simple. If depletion region is too wide, just assume this is depletion region. This is entirely W. If depletion region is too wide, just assume here one electron and hole generated, and it's take long way to reach other side. Okay, so that response time going to be less. Okay, what does it mean exactly? Think that we have a device here. We have a photo detector. I connected photo detector. This is my photo detector, and the related circuitry is here. Just a related circuitry is there. Some circuitry is there. Okay, and I have a LED photo generator. The light generator. It is giving a light pulse of interval 1 nanosecond. 1 nanosecond. So here it is actually it's giving light pulse. That means LED is on, off. LED is on, LED is off. It's a light pulse. Okay, it's giving light pulse of 1 nanosecond. So this my device supposed to read this pulse. Okay, what is the design constraint of this device? It should detect every pulse, right? The electron hole pair generation and the transportation of electron hole pair that leads to external current. That supposed to happen half of the nanosecond. Are you getting me? Because every 1 nanosecond one pulse is coming to my device, and the response time of my device supposed to be half of the nanosecond. One pulse is received by my device, and electron hole pair created corresponds to that one pulse, and it is transported to two side, and externally we got a current and we measured one pulse. Okay, this should happen within half of the nanosecond. Otherwise my device is going to fail to receive next pulse. If this action take more than 1 nanosecond, what will happen? By the time next pulse definitely going to miss. So we have to compromise the width of depletion region between sensitivity and speed of response. Okay, W should be wide in order to get the high sensitivity, but W should not be wide in order to get high bandwidth. So we need to compromise between these two parameters of photo detectors. An important figure of merit of photo detector is quantum efficiency. Quantum efficiency, you can remember this expression. JOP is actually optical current density, the Q is charge, and POP is the power of light intensity, optical power divided by h nu. Okay, if you see this ratio, you will be getting the quantum efficiency. Actually, just remember this expression. Quantum efficiency is equal to JOP divided by Q and whole divided by POP divided by h nu. Okay. So this photodetector is also a part of photodiode. In the photodiode, I have explained you the working of photodiode in the first class, and we have derived a formula for the current in forward bias, reverse bias, and open circuit and short circuit cases. And next we have taken solar cell. Solar cell actually working on open circuit, between open circuit and closed circuit of PN junction, right. Basically, if I say specifically fourth quadrant of VI characteristics. Next is photodetector. It's again solar panel, solar cell and photodetectors are actually converting light energy into electrical energy to particular device. So photodetector, in order to make my photodiode is photodetector, that photodiode should work in third quadrant. Okay, so that I should apply a reverse bias to my photodiode in order to get a photodetector. And next is converting electrical energy into light energy. That is what the next device we are going to see in next video. Okay, thank you.